Hello, this is Thomas Donegan. Now, you've seen me talk about Baby Einstein, as well as my review series Baby Einstein in July. Already done 2 seasons. You like those seasons? You like these episodes? Hope you did. Well, I'm also a nostalgia cartoon lover. That's right, just like you, I love watching cartoons on my downtime as well. So, what you see right here are... What was I saying? Oh, yes, some of the nostalgia cartoons I like to look back on are the cartoons that were on Cartoon Network, or as I like to call them, Cartoon Network Hall of Fame cartoons. I know they're called something else. What is it? Cartoons? But for me, I like to call them Cartoon Network Hall of Fame cartoons. Alright, so what you're seeing right here are a set of DVDs called the Cartoon Network Hall of Fame collection. There's they have 3 of these. That's volume 1, that's volume 2, that's volume 3. So, this is, or as I like to call it, the Cartoon Network Hall of Fame collection trilogy. So, why am I doing this? Well, Cartoon Network has this new block that's just a few weeks old called Checkered Past. Well, technically it's part of Adult Swim, which is Cartoon Network's nighttime block. And they show some of Cartoon Network's classic cartoons. Well, only a few of them. It's alright block, but I'll explain more of my thoughts on Checkered Past in another episode. Right now, I just want to show off some other DVDs that I have right now, which is the Cartoon Network Hall of Fame collection. So, let's get started. So, we'll start off with Volume 1, as always, because 1 is a great place to start. So, it has Johnny Bravo, Dexter's Laboratory, Courage the Cowardly Dog, and Ed, Edd and Eddy. You remember watching these on Cartoon Network? You remember those cartoons? I remember watching them. I think some of them are funny. I'll explain more of my thoughts on that when I take the discs out. So, here's the front. I really like the artwork on this. It has all the main characters. Well, at least one of the main characters for both cartoons that are featured in this collection. So, that's the front. Now we'll look at the back. It says, everyone's favorite classic cartoons, hours of fun for the whole family. And you can see a description of each cartoon as well as a screenshot for each show. And this was released in, 2012. So this is about 12 years old, or 12 and a half years old. It came out on March 13th, 2012. I saw that on a YouTube video. And here's the spine. It has released by Warner Brothers since they own Cartoon Network Hall of Fame. Okay, now we'll take a look at the discs. Alright, excuse me. Now, if you're wondering why I rushed through taking the discs out, the reason why was because in the boxes, the DVDs were stacked, so it's kind of frustrating to take all the discs out and film at the same time, so that's why I had to rush through it, and can't do it while I'm filming. So, anyway, back to the discs. So here we have Johnny Bravo Season 1, Disc 1. I've seen the first season of Johnny Bravo, every single episode. I think it's a very funny cartoon, it's hilarious, and the character Johnny Bravo, I really like his voice, and the situations he has to go through. It has a typical cartoon, what they call, slapstick. Yeah, slapstick. Why didn't I think of that? Some slapstick and some funny jokes, and it has a lot of cool parodies. I think it's a very interesting cartoon. I would love to see it get rebooted. Well, even though reboots can be a hit or miss. So, that's Johnny Bravo. Then we have Dexter's Laboratory Season 1, Disc 1. Dexter's Laboratory is my favorite Cartoon Network Hall of Fame cartoon because, well, it has a similar art style of the Powerpuff Girls, and, you know, my sisters used to watch the Powerpuff Girls, and I really liked it as well, and then they watched Dexter's Laboratory. It has the same art style. That's because it was done by Craig McCracken and Gendy Tartakovsky. Well, Gendy Tartakovsky is the real creator of Dexter's Laboratory, and Craig McCracken directed and did art directing and did storyboarding with some of the early episodes of Dexter's Laboratory. This was before Craig and company worked on the Powerpuff Girls and brought that to life, so I just love the similar, I just love how it shares a bunch of similarities with the Powerpuff Girls. It's another favorite of mine, but I still say Dexter's Laboratory is my favorite because I love Dexter and his sister Dee Dee, and everything seems to go wrong. There's also some other segments like Dial M for Monkey and Justice Friends. I think it's sort of a Rocky and Bullwinkle territory here. But yeah, Dexter's Laboratory, absolute favorite of mine. Definitely recommended for cartoon fans or people who are just interested in watching cartoons. Okay, anyways, next up is Courage the Cowardly Dog Season 1, Disc 1. So, my thoughts on Courage, well, it's alright. I wouldn't say it's a favorite of mine. It is kind of creepy, but it's still recommended. It's still passable for a Cartoon Network Hall of Fame cartoon. And finally, Ed, Edd n Eddy Fool's Paradise, which is a compilation. It's not like the other discs where it's first season or anything. But it's just the way this DVD was released. I would have preferred Season 1, Disc 1, but it's okay, it is what it is. And my thoughts on Ed, Edd n Eddy? Well, I think I like Courage better than Ed, Edd n Eddy. It's kind of annoying, but I still watch it when there's nothing else on. Alright, so that's all the discs. Now we'll move on to Volume 2. Before I talk about Volume 2, I just have to mention one quick thing. The Volume 1 DVD came with a sort of ultraviolet pamphlet with a promo code. It's probably expired by now, so I don't know if I would be interested in that, so just a little heads up. Okay, now to review Volume 2. So, Volume 2 has Samurai Jack, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Codename Kids Next Door, and Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. I like the artwork as well. I like the artwork on all of these, so just a little heads up. So that was the front. Now we'll look at the back. The perfect DVD collection for the whole family, all at a great value. Don't know if it's perfect to enjoy, but wouldn't say perfect DVD. And just like that, we get a description of each show as screenshots. So, and here's a little update. It says how many episodes it has, as well as special features. And this one was released in 2013, about a year from Volume 1. Alright, now here's the spine. Now we'll look at the discs. Alright, so here are the Volume 2 discs. And this one did not come with a pamphlet, and a little spoiler for Volume 3, it didn't come with a pamphlet either. Alright, so anyways, here's Samurai Jack Season 1, Disc 1. Excuse me. Samurai Jack, I've only seen these episodes on this DVD, and from what I have to say, it has quite a story arc of a samurai warrior, Jack, who has to defeat Aku. Only Aku throws him into another dimension, and now Samurai Jack has to do everything to stop Aku from his powers and dastardly plans, just like any superhero show. So, Samurai Jack, a cool cartoon. Might be a little too dark, I should say, but It's still a fun cartoon. Alright, and now we have Courage the Cowardly Dog Season 1 Disc 2. Yeah, so basically the Cartoon Network Hall of Fame trilogy has the whole first season of Courage on DVD. That's really cool. Every single Courage the Cowardly Dog episode of Season 1. I've seen all the Season 1 episodes, and some I like, some not so much. But that's okay. It is what it is, as I said before. Next up we have Codename Kids Next Door Super Hugest Missions File 1. They have it with double O's instead of a U for super. So, like this DVD. Again, it like the Ed, Edd n Eddy disc from Volume 1. It's a compilation DVD of some episodes as standalone episodes. And I think there are only like 10 of them on this. And they're all from the first 2 seasons, so I'm guessing they're like the top 10 from the first 2 seasons of Codename Kids Next Door. That's my best estimation on that. What else? So there are also some cool special features, other trailers from old DVDs by Warner Brothers. At least they're family-friendly DVDs. You know what I mean. And next up is Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends Season 1 Disc 2. Alright, so Volume 2 said it has Season 1 Disc 1, but instead it has Season 1 Disc 2. I really don't know what they mean by that, but it's okay. Season 2 has some really great episodes. Didn't have a lot like Disc 1 did, but still fun, and I think it's safe to say that they are all great episodes. Yeah, and you'll also find some great special features on there with trailers and advertising and all that. And as for Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, I would say it's another favorite of mine next to the Powerpuff Girls and Dexter's Laboratory. It follows the show of Mac and Blue. Well, Mac has to give up his imaginary friend Blue and to a foster home, and they make a deal where they visit each other every day. Not going into too much about it. Going to Codename Kids Next Door, little spoiler. There is a sneak preview of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends on the disc as a special feature. Didn't get my thoughts on Codename Kids Next Door yet. It's really great. Well, maybe not as great as the Powerpuff Girls and Dexter's Laboratory or Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, but still a fun cartoon and great if you want to get into the superhero thing. Okay, so anyways, those are the Volume 2 discs. Now we'll move on to the third and final of the trilogy. Okay, so here's Volume 3, the last Hall of Fame collection DVD in the trilogy, unless they make a fourth one, should they be announced. I hoped they would make a fourth one, but I've waited for a long time, and I'm guessing that it's not going to happen anytime soon. But anyways, for Volume 3, it has Dexter's Laboratory, Codename Kids Next Door, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and Ed, Edd n Eddy. It looks sort of different from the other two because of... Look how big the titles for each cartoon is compared to Volume 2, as you can see. And they have the trademark symbol there. Okay, so that was the front of Volume 3, and here's the back. 4 discs packed with hours of laughs and fun. And again, descriptions of how many episodes are on there, as well as the screenshots. And this one was released in 2015, 3 years from the first volume and 2 years after the second volume. Okay, so that's alright. And here's a look at the spine again. And now we get to look at the discs. Okay, so here are the Volume 3 discs, and this one has Dexter's Laboratory Season 1 Disc 1. We just saw that in Volume 1. Okay, well, and then here's Codename Kids Next Door Super Huge's Missions File 1. That was in Volume 2. Alright. Next up is The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy Season 1 Disc 1. You know, I've watched this a lot on Cartoon Network, especially during the special occasions. I remember when Cartoon Network had their 30th anniversary celebration, and they showed all their Hall of Fame cartoons from the past and present, and The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy was one of them. My thoughts on that: I watched this cartoon a lot on Cartoon Network. I thought about it a lot, and I would have to say, I guess you can say it's another favorite of mine. Yeah, I like that. The fact that you have two neighbor kids, Billy and Mandy, who become best friends with the Grim Reaper, and all sorts of weird stuff happens, you know, kind of like what happens in Courage the Cowardly Dog. Something creepy comes out of nowhere, and they have to deal with that. They have to snap out of their problems. Well, Courage does it in a courageful way, but Billy and Mandy does it in a comedic way. So I would have to say The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy is better than Courage the Cowardly Dog, but not on the same level as Dexter's Laboratory or the Powerpuff Girls. Well, maybe close to Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Alright, but anyways, yeah, Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, another great Cartoon Network Hall of Fame cartoon. And next up is Ed, Edd and Eddy Season 1 Disc 1. Why didn't they put this in Volume 1? I have no clue. But it's in there anyways. So basically this is a sort of homage to the other two, because Dexter's Laboratory Season 1 Disc 1 was already in Volume 1, and Codename Kids Next Door was already on Volume 2. So I'm guessing that Volume 3 wanted to I'm guessing Cartoon Network wanted to show off the best disc that was in each of the volumes. Definitely agree with Dexter's Laboratory, because it is my favorite Cartoon Network Hall of Fame cartoon, and it does have a lot of hilarious episodes. I still wish they would have more. I still wish they would have all the seasons released on DVD. Right now they just have Season 1. Same with some of the other Cartoon Network Hall of Fame cartoons. Only the first season of each cartoon has been on DVD, or I should say first two seasons, I should say. Alright, so next, and Codename Kids Next Door for Volume 2. I guess that would be a good selection. I would have chosen Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, to be honest, for Volume 3, but that's okay. Still fun to relive with the special features, especially that sneak preview of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends that you'll be able to find here on the disc. And then they show off two more discs, two more that have yet to be on a DVD pack. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the Volume 3 disc, so now on to my final thoughts. Okay, so that was the Cartoon Network Hall of Fame Collection Trilogy review. I would have to say this is quite a collection for Cartoon Network Hall of Fame fans if they wanted to relive some of their favorite cartoons, because to me, I think Cartoon Network has some cartoons that are not yet interesting at all to me. Still wish they showed reruns of those shows, because I really want to relive them. Alright, so my favorite, I wish they would rerun these shows, but what was I going to say? Oh yeah, so Volume 1 is hilarious. Volume 2, very good with special features. Volume 3, homage to the other two, as well as some new ones, so not that great, but still recommendable. Okay, so my favorite for Volume 1 I would have to say Johnny Bravo, even though Dexter's Laboratory is my favorite, but I've seen all the first season episodes of Johnny Bravo and only a few of the other online. But Johnny Bravo is great. I love his performance, and I would have to recommend it for families all the time. Alright, so Volume 2. Favorite would be Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, because of it's another favorite of mine, next to the Powerpuff Girls and Dexter's Laboratory, and even though it has disc 2 of season 1 and not disc 1, all the episodes on this disc are great. And for Volume 3, Dexter's Laboratory, my favorite Cartoon Network Hall of Fame cartoon, with Dexter, Dee Dee, their family and friends, and a whole lot of other slapstick moments that just can't help but smile to. Okay, so favorite Volume 1, Johnny Bravo, favorite for Volume 2, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, and favorite for Volume 3, Dexter's Laboratory. So that's my review on the Cartoon Network Hall of Fame trilogy on DVD, which Cartoon Network would make a 4th DVD. If they did, well, some ideas I would have for that would be Johnny Bravo, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Codenamed Kids Next Door, and The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy as one. Or another one possible would be The Powerpuff Girls, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Courage the Cowardly Dog, and Samurai Jack. Those are some ideas I have. I would like to hear your thoughts on the Cartoon Network Hall of Fame trilogy DVD. Do you recommend it? Do you think it's something nostalgic cartoon fans can look back on, like myself? Would you like to add it to your DVD collection? Alright, so that's my review on the Cartoon Network Hall of Fame trilogy. Tune in to my next video where I talk about the Cartoon Network Hall of Fame checkered past on Adult Swim, as well as some other concerns I have about Cartoon Network, because Cartoon Network is going downhill, literally. Alright, so that's all for now. This is Thomas Donegan saying, that's all, folks!